Hello, Caleb Mckenzie here, Assistant Pastor of Bible Baptist Church in Puyallup, Washington, continuing on with familiar Bible stories and the significance that they hold for you and I. Today's story that we're going to look at is that of Cain and Abel. I'm going to read in Genesis chapter 4, verses 1 through 10. It says, "And Adam knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of the sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought forth of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel he also brought of the firstling of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. This is, again, a familiar story, that of Cain and Abel, where we see in the Bible the first murder, and it's against his own brother. Cain and Abel both bring an offering unto the Lord. You have Cain who brings the fruit that he has grown, the fruit and vegetables that he's grown of his own. And then you have Abel who brings the firstling of his flocks as he keeps the sheep. One is accepted and one is not. Cain, of course, as we know, his offering is not accepted, and he gets angry, and down the road at some point he and his brother are in the field, and he kills his brother over this offering. Now, what's the significance of this story? Is the significance that it's the first murder? Is the significance the offering itself? I think the significance for us that we can see, or at least one of them, is the way the offering is given. You see, Cain's offering was Cain coming to God his way, not God's way. Cain decided he didn't need to do things God's way, that he could come to God on his own, in his ability, in his doing, which is so very often true of people today. It's where most false religions have begun, is men who don't want to have to come to God God's way, so instead they come up with their own way that they can come to God in their strength, in their ability. We see it all throughout the Bible. That's what's happening at the Tower of Babel, is they want to be able to come to God in their own strength and their own ability. We see it all throughout history as you have some who start religion simply because they want to come to God. They just don't want to have to conform to what God says. So they decide they'll do it their own way. Often we'll see people do it with works, that they don't want to have to rely on God's plan of salvation, so instead they'll try to do it through their own ability, their own good works to come to God. The problem is, with all of those, that just like Cain's offering, my abilities aren't acceptable to God. The Bible tells us that our righteousness is as filthy rags. The very best I can do does not live up to God's standards. Which tells me, rather than coming up with my own way to God, rather than coming up with my own way to do His will, I just need to submit to God's way of doing things. Thank you for watching.